Aaron brings all the boys to the yard with his milkshake.
There was no milkshake.
And he licked off of April.
I didn't lick the milkshake.
That's not what I'm being told by everyone, especially the person who did it. I mean, like, did you? Okay, Aaron. So what was it like knowing that she was in the other room with him? Like, you got to tell me.
Well, I was.
Did that burn your soul?
I was busy.
Okay.
I was busy doing the same thing. And I got yelled at for doing it more. So, I think what it is I think it was two people who didn't know how to just get a fucking divorce like normal people. So you just didn't. I'll tell you this, like being in a healthy relationship now, if you give a shit, if you care about someone, you can't do that.
Right.
Like you wouldn't be able to do that if you cared about someone.
What was it like going there with April and then leaving without her?
Like when this was all said and done, when it was all.
Yeah. Well, and like kind of like those times, like she wanted to stay and like you would leave. Like
that didn't
how could you let that?
That didn't happen very often.
Okay.
That didn't happen very often. That was always towards the end. And I was just so sick of her drug shit. And then her yell. And then she was sick of me bugging her about the drug shit. And it got to about, it didn't get to hatred, but it got to just mutual kind of indifference towards each other. We really wish.
Would you fight Nick?
Would I fight Nick?
That's a dumb question.
Like in the streets?
Yeah, like if you saw him, would it be like, you know what? We have all this history. Let's just do it.
I don't hate him enough, like to walk up to him and punch him in the face. There's a little bit of pity I feel for him. Like I kind of feel sorry for him in a weird way. It's not really hate. I don't think you can move on from something like that and still like any hate I have for him is kind of playful. I'm observing and I'm going, haha, bad things are happening to someone I don't like. But I don't have like a need to cause bad things for him. You know what I mean? Like I don't like hitting him wouldn't do anything for me. Now, there's also a part of me that because he obviously hates me that much, if he were to throw at me, there's part of me that would relish that. That would be like, oh, son. Oh, son. No. Now, if you're talking about like if Keemstar and Happy Punch put together another internet guys do a thing and it's business and yeah, let's do it.
I'd pay for that.
Like,
well, would you say he learned at least? And if you do believe he's learned, do you think you've learned?
Do I think he's learned? I think a guy like Nick always wants to try to find the opportunity to bend the reality to fit what he wants instead of changing what he is. Lawyer. Yes, very good. I think that's perfect. Whereas I realized some really shitty things about my character and went, you got to change. You got to stop. You got to change privately. I mean, show-wise, it was never my show persona that got me into,
Hold up. Do you think you did that just to try to get public sway back in your corner? Like if people weren't hating you and being mad at you and going after you, do you think you would still would you have been like, whatever, it's not a big deal, still do what I'm going to do?
No, I'll tell you this.
Once you got pushback, we were like, I better.
No, I was pretty much the whole summer behind the scenes. I was a pretty broken guy. I was pretty fucked up. Yeah. I'd say, yeah, I'll send my ongoing therapy bill to you. And
that's what I do, man. I'm going to ask these questions. You give me the opportunity. I'm going to take it.
Oh, no, it's fine. No,
you were going to give me an opportunity to interview you, so I appreciate this.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't know.
I'm not trying to get you. I want sound back.
I think the idea of having a show persona and then drawing a hard line and having real me was really helpful to me psychologically. I think separating the show from life helped immensely, and it kind of helped me learn.
But you don't.
What?
You don't.
You have
all your personal life into the show. It seems like.
All
this stuff comes from bringing it into the show.
I feel like sharing. But as far as like my attitude, I mean like my behavior, I'm not like this boisterous dick all the time, like privately.
I hope not.
No, that's a character. That's what I mean. It's a performance for the show that's entertaining that, goes back to being on radio and all that stuff. So no, I had to cut the shit. You got 3 children and, you want to have a regular life. You can't do it doing all of that goofy shit. You're trying to make this, you're interviewing me. No, honestly, all I wanted to ask you was how the discussion happened, like who went to who, because I had a theory. And my theory...
What was the theory?
My theory was half right, half wrong. My theory was My theory was he reached out to you first, and I think that's incorrect.
Okay, so I did reach out to him like when it all started, because I actually knew Nick.
I'm going to lose my train of thought here. So you reached out to him first. So I was wrong. So I was going to say he reached out to you first. In an attempt...
I got to explain it. I'm sorry. I got to explain it. Forgive me. So
I'm dying to get to the part where I was right.
I'll give it to you. You'll take it, and you'll be right. So I kind of spoke with him back in 2017, the Sector Days, the Ethan Route, the Blood Sports, the Tonka Saw. So he knew who I was. There was a time when you guys were still buddies. He was in your chat. And I was like, hey, Nick, what's going on? And he goes, hey, Will, what's up? And so we kind of knew each other before, but it wasn't like we know each other now. Yeah. So after that video came out that I clipped of his locals things, he then made an attempt to reach out to me.
So I was okay.
Yeah, so I'm saying you're right.
Oh, shit.
I just want to make that's got to be clear, man. I'm sorry.
Then I was all the way right. So he did reach out to you first, and it wasn't a way to say, hey, you're wrong about these things, and I want to correct the record, and this is what really happened, and blah. That was my theory. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fucking
so you're kind of right.
Kind of right. I'm 1,000% right. I got SP texted. She's like, this cum slurping conversation is not happening right now. I'm like,
Thank you, SP. Someone has sense.
There was no cum slurping.
You need to ring her. You need to ring SP. She knows what she's doing.
Listen, just take it easy, all right?
Put a ring on it, baby. Lock her up.
I will officially go on record for the 900th time. And again, most brilliant bit Nick's ever done, because he's not a particularly funny guy. Funniest bit he's ever done is, and by the way, I say that to get that face out of someone. That was perfect. The funniest bit he's ever done is I now have to deny I've ever tasted a man's semen for the rest of my life. That is a brilliant bit.
You make it bigger by having to answer. If you would have just been like Nick's nuts, or I just said
no, you can't say Nick's nuts. That was the accusation.
You could, but the more you bring out eating seminal fluid, it's like projection.
I made chili once that I only fed to Nick, and I took a big steamy shit right in it, and he ate it.
Is that a felony? Did you just get yourself in more trouble?
That's just as retarded as the cum slurping thing. That was my point.
Don't learn, Aaron. We talked about this.
There is a part of me that, for the show, really enjoys keeping that ball in the air.
I bet.
There's a disgusting...
That's probably give it the juice.
No, we're doing great, and now that's all I can think of. I saw your clip with Dean, and then I thought about that, and I saw you in the chat, and I was like, well, I gotta have Will on. And then... you
got me? Anytime.
I don't know. Maybe someone said the other day, they were responding to something Jesse PS said. Jesse said, Aaron takes trolling better than anyone I've ever seen. And then someone else said, yeah, but Aaron is so flippant about it, it's almost a negative. And I went, no. You don't understand. If I'm flippant to the point of it being a negative, that's how little I care about it. Like, I'm willing, like the jizz thing, I'm willing to keep bringing up the fact that I didn't taste jizz because it works the chat up. Everybody gets talking. Everybody gets chatting. We call it in the wrestling business cheap heat.
A heel. Were you talking about yourself in third person there for a minute? Did I just hear that?
Roy Jones Jr. does what Roy Jones Jr. wants to do. And if Roy Jones Jr. wants to move up to heavyweight, then Roy Jones Jr. is going to do that.
Exactly. We didn't talk about boxing on the podcast. I did ask the Aussie guy if we were going to talk boxing, and he said no. So I knew he was telling the truth that time.
Did he say he's going to come back and do a show with me? A sequel?
We weren't talking about you. We were talking about me. It was my day.
Talk about me.
I was the cock of the walk.
You know what brings the views in? Talk about me.
You need like a team of clippers to get all the good details. Like this one here, we're going to watch is Will Heron, TV's Will Heron, as he is a professional and pro bono A-log